It's all yours.
Thanks so much, Stephanie, and thank you both, Stephanie and Norm, for having us and supporting Coffin Ridge. I really appreciate it. Um, yeah, just wanted to start off and touch a little bit more on what Stephanie was saying as far as our location. Little ways from you folks. I actually mapped it out in maps today, and we are 4 hours away. So if anyone wants to come visit, be prepared for a little drive. But if anyone knows where Owen Sound is, we are just outside of Owen Sound. Our winery sits right up on a beautiful hill and looks out towards beautiful Georgian Bay, southern Georgian Bay, actually. So very beautiful spot off the main road. You drive down, you hit a dirt road, and we're out in what I like to call the boonies. We actually have pretty rough service out there even. So it's pretty out there, but it's exceptionally beautiful. It's one of the more beautiful Ontario wineries that I've ever been to, and I'm not just saying that because I work there. So but it is what you would call the epitome of a boutique winery. It's a very small production winery. It's family owned. The owners are Gwen and Neil Lamont, and they started this winery back in the early 2000s. They had a vision that they wanted to start a cool climate focused winery up in Grey County, and which is back in those days, everyone was saying how crazy you are. What are you doing? They're going to die, and so on and so forth. But as Stephanie mentions, the grape varietals that you're trying, most of them you probably have never tried before because they are very particular grapes that have been developed to thrive and survive, more importantly, but survive and thrive in our harsh winters that we get in our area. Um, so the very first plantings were in 2003, and then subsequent after that, more plantings between 2005 and 2009. So we have a total of 25 acres under vine, which is pretty impressive for the winters that we get, which I assume probably not too far off of a good hardy Sudbury winter. What really keeps our vines going, well, is that we are situated on this hill, and so what happens is when there's threat of frost in the spring, because we're on a hill, the wind comes down and it clears out the frost and it takes it right down into the bay. So it really we're situated in such a spot that allows the vines to grow in the spring without threat of frost. So there are a couple other wineries up in this area. Really great wineries. The Roost is one of them, and Georgian Bay Winery is the other. And unfortunately, they do sustain quite a bit of damage sometimes in the winter, but it seems like every spring we really maintain. So the actual winery is quite beautiful. We've got these massive decks just off the tasting room. So when and if and hopefully you ever come to visit us, we do these beautiful what we call our vintner plates. So a really nice charcuterie board, meats and cheeses, and then we've also most recently installed a really beautiful wood-fired pizza oven. So you can come, order some food, get some wine, and then you just sit there and stare out at the at Georgian Bay. It's quite a beautiful experience there. Um, so also just wanted to talk a little bit about our our COVID situation, we pivoted just like everyone else. We used to have a lot of things going on that we're slowly starting to reintroduce, but we you know we did the big pivot like everybody, and we brought in a lot of these clear igloos, which really helped get a few people through in the winter time, in a time where we used to do a lot of snowshoe tours. Um, and but that's, we've been managed to make our way through COVID times and come out on the other end, and it's again getting really busy there. I know a question for a lot of people is the name and our branding. So interesting story there is that when you're sitting on our decks and you look out, there is a ridge across the valley, which is Coffin Ridge. Um, Now, a lot of stories surrounding Coffin Ridge, but the primary one that we like to stick to, that has kind of gained our branding with the whole spooky kind of feel to it, is back in settler days. The folks that lived around the valley were taking up a coffin with, unfortunately, somebody in it, and the horses got spooked, and they took off, and the coffin spilt all over the place. And anyways, in which the name was born, and so the owners really ran with it and loved the idea of kind of just running with this interesting, unique branding of the coffin, and then anything spooky and ghost related to go along with that. Um, any questions about our winery at all?
Anybody have any questions? Oh,
And so what are the main grapes being grown there?
So the main grapes would be mostly Baco Noir is our primary planting. So our flagship grape, or flagship wine, I should say, is Back from the Dead Red, which I'm sure maybe a couple folks have in their tasting flights there. So that is our main flagship wine that you're gonna find in a lot of places. It's made up of Baco Noir, Marquette, and it is one of the only wines there that we bring in a little bit of grapes from Niagara, and we blend in some Cab Franc and some Merlot just to round it out and give it some more body. But yeah, to answer your question, Norm, Baco Noir, Marquette, Lacadie, Frontenac Gris, and Frontenac Blanc are all the primary grapes. Now we do have some others, some really kind of even more obscure grapes, like the likes of Prairie Star, Geisenheim, but those are definitely smaller amounts of those. But they're very important that they make up the blend that goes into the likes of the Into the Light White and our Marquette.
All right, one more quick question, because I want other people to have their questions, but where can we purchase it other than going to the actual winery?
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we do quite a bit of business with the LCBO, and I have quite a few listings throughout the whole province of the Back from the Dead Red. It would be in well over 100 LCBOs, maybe even 150. So it's quite spread out. And then we also ship directly our Into the Light White and our Riesling. And then of course our cider is really, really widely all over the place in LCBOs.
Thank you.
Yeah, but those three are the ones that are found in LCBO. Otherwise, I mean, we do a wine club through our website, and our tasting bar manager Tara, she's awesome. She takes care of that, and so people are signed up for that, and they get exclusive, heads up on different releases and that sort of thing. And then of course our website, you can order directly from there as well. So wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of the wines. I was going to start with the white ones, given that it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day, and I'm sure that's what everyone is mostly gravitating towards. I was going to start off with the Into the Light White. So that one is, it's an interesting wine in that a lot of folks will compare it to, I don't know if anyone's ever had the Austrian wine Gruner Veltliner. A lot of people find it very comparable to that. It's a really interesting blend. A couple of the ones I just mentioned. So it's Geisenheim, Lacadie, Frontenac, and Prairie Star. So it's a blend of those. And yeah, just a nice round, punchy. It's perfect with Asian foods, Thai noodles, sushi, those kind of foods. Again, one of my faves out of the list, and yeah, it's an interesting wine that you won't find that blend anywhere else, I would say. Is that anyone sipping on the Into the Light? Yeah, right on. See what I mean about the Thai food?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting big cheers from the back of the room here.
Yeah, nice one. The next one is anyone drinking the rosé right now?
Yeah, there's a couple of on tables here.
Yeah, perfect. So the rosé, so I get a lot of flavors of blood orange and clementine in that. It's got your typical strawberries and kind of like your crushed cranberries. It's a really what I would find to be like a very fruit forward rosé. It's not your super light Southern Provence style. It's got a little bit more oomph to it. Again, a perfect Asian food complementary on that one. The winemaker he's been doing the same blend on this rosé for many years. We have a big following for it. It's one that you can only, it's not the LCBO, so a lot of our following just comes out to the winery and picks it up. And yeah, the new vintage is showing really well on that one. What's next? My favorite is the Lacadie. So great little history on the Lacadie. It was actually developed in Niagara back in the 50s. So it was developed in a laboratory, and it was made to sustain the winters here in Canada. And although developed in Ontario, Nova Scotia has really found their way with Lacadie, and even more so than Ontario, given obviously the name. So the Acadian Valley is where it really flourishes out there. Really great winery out there called Benjamin Bridge utilizes Lacadie in one of their sparklings, and they make great use of that wine. But
sorry to interrupt. We know Benjamin Bridge quite well here.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Do you pour it there?
Not so much the sparklings, but we had their pet nat and kept stuff in cans. We were bringing in.
Yeah. Oh, you're lucky to get some of that. It's such small production.
Yeah, it was a hard find, but I got it.
Yeah, well done. Well done. Yeah, they're great folks out there. But yeah, they grow some great, interesting grapes just like us. But the Lacadie for me is I'm a I love mineral driven, acid driven wine. So the Lacadie is something that really works for my palate. It's a perfect food wine, or you can chill a bottle and it's amazing on its own too. But you know, it also, it's got a little bit of tropical notes on the undertones, but it's just a refreshing wine that's perfect for, you know, days like today. Um, we also do the reserve Lackady, which I don't know of anyone else treating Lackady like what we've done with it, but it goes into French oak for 14 months, and on the other side, it comes out really well rounded out. Still has that really underlying zip of acidity, but the wood, the oak really just mellows the wine right out. Um, really complementary to, you know, to fish with some rich sauces and seafood with, you know, garlic and butter, that sort of thing. Love, yeah, it's, I love that they're experimenting with our wines like that. It's pretty refreshing to see, you know, a grape varietal like Lackady go through that love and care of for, you know, it's a pretty costly program to put in a wine for, you know, over a year into barrels. So it's an interesting wine, and I think it's a lot of fun. Any questions at all so far?
Yeah, Ken, maybe you can just sort of finish up. Can you go on to just talk about the divine intervention, just so people get an idea of the background on it?
Definitely. Yeah, so the orange wine, a lot of folks not even familiar with what an orange wine is. So I'll just kind of explain an orange wine in general, which is an orange wine is a white wine that gets left on its skins during fermentation. So that process could be a matter of days, or it could even be a matter of months. It all depends what the process is and the outcome that they're looking for. So our orange wine, the Divine Intervention, uh, lots going on the palate. It's a complex wine. I find a lot of kind of dried apricot. It's got a really nice round mouth feel. You're still getting a nice little bit of tannin as well, which really helps match it up with food. And and yeah, it's a blend. It's a blend from our Frontenac and our Lackady. And in our particular case, our winemaker, Steve Byfield, he left this orange wine on the skins for approximately 2 weeks. So in comparison, I mean, some places only do it for hours, other places are months, like I mentioned, but 2 weeks is right around where he thought was hitting the sweet spot. So that's the story with the orange wine. Again, another one that's perfect with Asian cuisine, you know, your noodles and spicy dishes. It holds up really well to that. Yeah.
Are you all Highway 26?
If you can hear, he's asking if you're off Highway 26.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, off Highway 26, and then we're down that road approximately 8 kilometers. So it is paved for a little ways, and then it turns into a dirt road. So it is very rural, but it's a beautiful surprise on the end of it all. But if anyone's thinking about coming for a visit this summer, make sure to give us a ring, because you know, it's busy, and you know, we're still abiding by certain things. So give us a call, and we'd love to see some of you folks down there this summer. It's a perfect it's a perfect stop on the way to Tobermory, which I realize some people would maybe take the, you know, the other way around, but if you're looking for the drive, stop in to see us on your way to Tobermory.
It's a good summer drive for sure.
Absolutely.
With just a quick little introduction on your two reds.
Sorry, say again.
Yeah, finish up with a little introduction on the two reds that we're pouring. You said the back from the dead red, you already talked about, but maybe just a little bit about the 2017 Marquette.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Marquette is a really unique wine, again, that has been developed. It was developed in the University of Minnesota. And this was a wine that was developed to sustain winters. So a hybrid cold hardy wine. And what it is a cross of French Pinot Noir, and then they crossed it with an indigenous North American grape species. And so between the two, it combines into what you would call like a medium bodied wine. And I think it's beautifully smooth. It seeds a lot of time in oak, and you get lots of kind of almost cocoa and vanilla beans and black cherry off that wine. It'll hold up. It'll hold up to red meat really, really well. It also has a really nice balanced acidity to it. So, you know, it's good with a variety of foods, and it's showing really well. I mean, the 2017 is holding up to what I think about, what are we, 24 months in barrel that wine sees. So it sees quite a bit of love, that wine. And as I mentioned, the back from the dead red, that is what we would probably refer to as our flagship wine. And yeah, it's a blend. The only one that we're not using are our own grapes. We're blending in a little bit of grapes from Niagara on that one. But if anyone's a fan, you know, ask at your local LCBO, and you know, hopefully be happy to ship some up there and get it listed if anyone loves it.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's how we learn how to get things up in Sudbury, is that we make sure to keep bugging them at the one location and they finally bring things in.
Absolutely, that's it. I can call them all day long, but unless I've got people, you know, asking for it, you know, it's it can be tough.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay, does anyone have any last questions for Kenny before?
No, this was great.
No, this was good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're waving and saying thank you. Some empty glasses on the table, which is good.
Awesome. Love it.
I know he's fighting the bugs and sunshine out in his patio like a trooper, just to come and chat with us. So thank you to Kearney, thank you to Coffin Ridge. Everyone have something in their glass, and you can give it a quick raising so we can do a toast. I always like to cheers to Coffin Ridge, and cheers to Ontario wine.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Next time you come in person, right?
Absolutely, would love to.
Be here. Yeah.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Great. Enjoy your night. Thanks again.